Good morning, everybody out there in YouTube land. See all my chatters in the chat room, and I'm sure there's some lurkers out there lurking around, and there'll be Memorex viewers later that like to see it after they get out of bed or when they get off work or whatever their schedule seems to dictate, and that's fine too. I'm glad to have everybody that watches the show. Memorex viewers later. And I never seem to remember to turn that other thing off so it stops echoing on me. Well, we got that taken care of. Let's see here. What's going on today? Well, it's a beautiful day in the neighborhood. The sun is shining. There is not a breeze blowing. It's going to get up in the 90s here in Indiana today and be a scorcher, I do believe. The garden seems to be growing pretty well in spite of the fact that it ain't had no rain. But I think that's mainly because I run around with a garden hose trying to keep it wet down some. Some of the stuff is starting to fall off, so I'll probably be digging a few potatoes here over the weekend and dealing with a few things out there that seem to be finishing up for the year. But overall, everything seems to be running pretty well. Got some news to bring to you today, but I'd like to kind of start this off with, I'm kind of having a little celebration of my own here today. Today makes 21 years since I had an operation to alleviate myself from cancer. 21 years cancer-free, and it has been quite an accomplishment, let me tell you. A lot of people get operated on for cancer, and then a few years later it comes back with a vengeance, but I have been one of the fortunate ones that when they got it all. And it has given me a second opportunity at life, and I have been taking advantage of it every way I know how. I try to cram everything into every moment that I can and experience everything that I can experience, because going through something like that lets you understand very quickly how short life is. And I have very little tolerance for stupidity and battles and ignorance. I just don't have time for it. Life is too short. I'm not going to waste my time on all that kind of stuff. So, a lot of people wonder, well, why doesn't she get involved in some drama and some of the things that happen? Oh, hell no. I don't go there. I appreciate life too much. And I think, there's more people that got the understanding, and I wouldn't wish it on anybody, but if more people got the understanding of how life is short and you need to take advantage of it, grab it, do as much good as you can possibly do while you're here, because you won't be here very long. Some young people think that, when they're in their 20s or 30s that, oh my goodness, if I was to live another 50 years, let me tell you what, 50 years can pass in a blink of an eye. Things can happen in the blink of an eye that'll shorten that 50 years up very quickly. So take advantage of everything that you possibly can while you have the opportunity to do it. This is the voice of experience talking to you. And with that said, I think I'm going to go ahead and jump on into the news today and bring you some things. There's some good ones in here. Lord have mercy, I come up with some stuff. First one I got for you is off of USA Today, and it says, parents of 2 Benghazi victims sue Hillary Clinton. It's about time, don't you think? Patricia Smith and Charles Woods, the parents of 2 Americans killed in the 2012 attacks on U.S. diplomatic compound Benghazi, Libya, have filed a wrongful death suit against Hillary Clinton. The lawsuit contends that the deaths of Sean Smith and Tyrone Woods were directly and proximately caused by the neglect and reckless actions of Clinton, who was Secretary of State at the time. It goes on to it goes on to specifically fault Clinton's use of a private email server at the State Department, saying any information received or sent through her personal account was compromised and ultimately helped facilitate the attack. The suit was filed in Washington, D.C. on Monday. Smith and Woods are represented by attorney Larry Klayman, who has long targeted the Clintons, dating back to the administration of President Bill Clinton during the 1990s. Smith spoke at last month's Republican National Convention in Cleveland and delivered a blistering critique of Hillary Clinton's handling of Benghazi, where 4 Americans, including Sean Smith and Tyrone Woods, lost their lives. I blame Hillary Clinton personally for the death of my son, Patricia Smith said. In a statement provided to the New York Times and NBC News, Clinton campaign spokesman Nick Merrill said of the lawsuit, while no one can imagine the pain of the families of the brave Americans we lost at Benghazi, there have been 9 different investigations into the attack and none found any evidence whatsoever of any wrongdoing on the part of Hillary Clinton. In June, House Republicans issued a report from a 2-year investigation into the Benghazi attacks that cited the Obama administration for security lapses but revealed nothing particularly new about Clinton's handling of the matter. The following month, FBI Director James Comey sharply criticized Clinton's use of private email servers while at the State Department as extremely careless, but argued that she should face no criminal charges, a recommendation Attorney General Loretta Lynch soon after adopted. So there you have that story. Mercy's sakes. Somebody needs to hold her accountable. The next one we have here is off of the BizPac Review, and it says Trump supporters' property vulnerable to pro-Hillary thugs. Watch this giant T go up in flames. Homeowner Kimberly Lloyd of McKinley, Texas, is an avid supporter of Donald Trump, and that's led to more than one confrontation with neighbors, to include acts of vandalism from those who don't like her choice, including one vandal caught up on tape painting a swastika over Trump's yard sign on her property. And they've got a video showing this. If you want to take a look at it, all these URLs are in the description of this video, so you can take a look at them. It says, but more vandals tried to destroy Lloyd. Lloyd answered with big signs and more of them, according to CBS DFW. It's not political, she told CBS affiliate. It's more like, this is my right, this is my property. But New York property owner supporting Trump found himself facing an even hotter problem, as in flames on his own lawn. Sam Prozillo walked out of his Staten Island home early Sunday to find a giant 12-by-8 sign depicting the letter T for Trump aflame on his lawn. It's a shame this generation's, whoops, I got something trying to play here. Let me get this shut off. I got it, okay. It says, it's a shame this generation that is around now, these kids feel it's time to block my First Amendment speech, including almost setting my house on fire, Prozillo told the Post. To them, that makes sense. He noted that 2 smaller pro-Trump signs disappeared from his lawn several days ago prior to the T being set afire. The unique design was the product of conservative Staten Island artist Scott Lobato and was intended to avoid precisely what happened. Instead of making a big sign that said Trump, he made a big T so we could support our candidate and prevent stuff like this, Prozillo said. But Lobato is not to be deterred. I'm going to build a bigger and better than before. It's going to be huge, the artist told the Post. Oh my goodness. What is wrong with people? They run around. I mean, did they really think that if they burn these signs or steal these signs out of people's yard, it's going to keep people from voting or something? What is going through their minds? I don't get it. Well, the vandalism and the hatred and all that, I don't understand that. Okay, the next one is off of Breitbart.com, and many of you probably are aware of Clock Boy. Well, this is a story about Clock Boy. Clock Boy Ahmed files lawsuit alleging discrimination against Texas school in the city. It says Mohammed Elson, father of Clock Boy Ahmed, filed a federal lawsuit in Dallas against the Irving Independent School District, the MacArthur High School principal, and the city of Irving on August the 8th. The lawsuit claims Muhammad's rights were violated when he was arrested last year after the 14-year-old brought to school a clock device that resembled a hoax bomb. Although Muhammad's engineering teacher advised him to put it away, he did not listen. Instead, Ahmed took the so-called clock to English class where he plugged it in. It started to beep and scared the teacher. No charges were ever filed against the teen once the situation sorted itself out, but Muhammad served 3 days suspension before his family withdrew him from Irving ISD and relocated to Qatar, where Muhammad accepted a full scholarship to attend Qatar Foundation School. And there is a picture of this, if you'd like to take a look at it in the article. It's a briefcase. Well, looks like a briefcase device of some sort. I wouldn't call it a clock, but you know, it's not a real close-up of the thing. But yeah, I don't know. Looks a little ominous to me. It says Muhammad family held a press conference at 10 a.m. Monday, August the 8th, led by new attorney Susan Hutchison after filing a lawsuit against the city of Irving and the Irving School District. Hutchison said she filed the lawsuit against the city and Muhammad's former. Well, something's trying to play. What's trying to play here?
Don't they say that it was a clock?
Yeah, let's see. He can hush.
Was not forthcoming at that time.
Stop.
Hush.
Hush. Get him to hush. I'm not getting the things to cooperate with me here. I think I've got him stopped. All right. Susan Hutchison, after filing a lawsuit against the city of Irving and the Irving School District. Hutchison said she filed the lawsuit against the city and Ahmed Muhammad's former school district at 6 a.m. in federal court in Dallas. The suit alleges violation of the teen's civil rights. During the press conference, Hutchison asserted there was no cause for his arrest last year and accused the Irving School District of paranoia towards Muslims. She said the only remedy to this matter is money, and they are suing for justice. They have not stated a dollar amount to sue for so far. Hutchison said that would be up to a jury. The lawsuit also claims a history of anti-Muslim sentiment in Irving and that Ahmed Muhammad was discriminated against based on his race and religion. The teen's father, Muhammad Elsan Muhammad, who filed the suit on his son's behalf, claimed that Islamophobia was behind his son's clock woes. In 2015, he said it happened because his name is Muhammad and because of September 11. Meanwhile, the elder Muhammad posted a contentious photo of the World Trade Center's Twin Towers enveloped in smoke during the 2001 terrorist attacks on his Sudanese National Reform Party page that's sourced to a Sudanese military group that asserted a truther philosophy. They called 9/11 an inside job, depicting these so-called events a rumor. Weeks later, Muhammad shared another 9/11 truther Facebook post in Arabic. He pondered the clock incident would lead to spreading Islam in America. The lawsuit described Muhammad Elsan Muhammad as an immigrant from the Sudan and a United States citizen, although his son, Ahmed, is listed as African-American Muslim. Accuses the Irving Independent School District of displaying a pattern of disproportionate disciplinary actions for black students. It also asserts Muhammad's Fourth Amendment rights were violated when he was detained by police and by Principal Daniel Cummings for over an hour without the presence of his parents before he was arrested. Irving ISD responded to its being named in the lawsuit shortly after the Muhammad family press conference in a statement obtained by Brevard, Texas. And that says, legal counsel for the Irving ISD has confirmed that the school district was named as a defendant in the lawsuit filed today in Dallas federal court by attorneys for the former Irving ISD student. As with any legal matter of this nature, attorneys for the school district will review the filing and respond as appropriate. Irving ISD continues to deny rights and will respond to claims in accordance with court rules. Because this matter is now in litigation, Irving ISD officials will have no further comment at this time. So, September 2015, Breitbart, Texas reported that zero tolerance, not Islamophobia, was behind the team's woes. The family has had several lawyers represent them along the way, including a West Texas personal injury attorney. Kelly Hollingsworth demanded a total of $15 million last November and $10 million from City of Irving and $5 million from the Irving School District. Breitbart, Texas reported the letters alleged innumerable claims about Ahmed Mohammed's September 14, 2015 detainment, among them Islamophobia. In late June, Uncle Aldine Mohammed told Dallas news media the family still planned to sue. Personal injury attorney Susan Hutchison of Hutchison and Stoy in Fort Worth is the latest lawyer representing the Mohammeds. In June, Mohammed told news media he returned to Texas for summer internship with Twitter, although CBS DFW reported the family returned to visit family. So there you have that story. Kid took something fairly ominous to school. He was told by one teacher to put it away, and he didn't put it away, and he takes it to another class, puts it in, and it starts going off, and it alarms a teacher and probably students wondering what's going on, and he gets suspended because he didn't mind. I don't care if he's purple with polka dots. It seems to me the folks are trying to make a mountain out of a molehill. Perhaps they should teach the boy to mind. Just a thought. Next one that we have here. This is off of Breitbart.com. And it says, Pamela Geller, shocking new details emerge in an Idaho Muslim migrant rape case. Covered this back in late June about this rape case. And I'm trying to get this to scroll down. There we go. And this is kind of an update on it. A hearing was held Thursday in the case of the little 5-year-old girl in Twin Falls, Idaho, who was raped, with 3 Muslim migrant boys being the primary suspects. Now, I believe it's absolutely certain and undeniable. Twin Falls County Prosecutor Grant Lobes lied outright when he said there were no Syrians involved, there was no knife involved, there was no gang rape. There was a knife involved, and there was a gang rape. Why are Lobes and other law enforcement and government officials so desperate to cover up the facts of this case? The hearing was called a pre-sentencing hearing and was essentially worthless. But one stunning and previously known fact emerged. 2 of the suspects, the 7-year-old and the 10-year-old Muslim migrant boys, are accused of assaulting this defenseless 5-year-old girl, both orally and anally. This appalling allegation had not even been revealed previously to the victim's mother. And Grant Lobes has the audacity to say that there was no gang rape. It is not, I think there's going to be something to try to play here. Let's see. Well, maybe not. Yeah, here it goes. For crying out loud. Get that stopped. All right, I think it stopped. It is not yet known whether or not the alleged ringleader of attack, yeah, for crying out loud. Where police say. About the time I think I got it stopped, it starts back up again. It's got a mind of its own. Okay, now I got it stopped. It is not yet known alleged ringleader of this appalling attack also assaulted the girl orally and anally because he has not yet had to appear in court. But what was revealed Thursday coincides with and amplifies what the poor little girl's mother got straight from the victim herself. This is what my daughter has told me, that they grabbed her at knife point and forced her into the laundry room and told her that if she tried to leave, they would kill her. The 7-year-old boy took her clothes off. She tells me he put his private in her mouth and peed in her mouth and put it in her private and then peed all over her. And She said they recorded her too. She also told the emergency room that they had a knife as well, and they found on her neck a cut. Then the day after, they claimed it was a scratch, when in fact it looked like a cut. It also provides confirmation of what the father reported to me about the video he saw that the attacking boys took of their attack. I watched the 8-year-old boy push my daughter up against a wall and pull her pants down and his pants down. Then he attempted to penetrate her from behind. She was able to run away and crouch in a corner, shaking in fear, while the boy danced around naked, laughing at her. I stopped watching after that. It also revealed during the court hearing, migrant suspects were required to appear in court Thursday, have moved, and all 3 are not in custody. They are free. They are roaming around loose and unsupervised. The court hearing Thursday was a circus. The family of 2 of the alleged attackers appeared, the 7-year-old and the 10-year-old. The alleged rapist's father came with 3 Muslim women, one of whom was likely the mother of the attacker. The Muslim interpreter was on hand by a telephone and was translating the proceedings for the Muslim parents. In other legal cases, Muslim interpreters have been accused of exercising undue influence over the proceedings, often at the expense of victims. One Muslim woman who was raped wrote this in a suicide note to her attorney: "Everything I told you then is true, but the interpreter there told me that a faithful woman must not use words like sex and rape. Words like that would dishonor my husband and our family. She also said that I was a blasphemer because I went to the police. No woman should report her own husband. The husband must be honored." Meanwhile, the victim in Twin Falls, once a happy and social child, now frequently insists that she wants to be alone. She finds a small and safe place inside a closet and stays in it alone for hours. Once a very chatty child, she has become very quiet. Even in the summer heat of Twin Falls, she now always wears 2 t-shirts and 2 pairs of underwear. She talks constantly about those naughty boys and asks her mother repeatedly not to tell her father everything that happened because it will upset him. The alleged attackers' families had no trouble getting a new home, but the victim's family is still without a new apartment. They are enrolled in new schools. Do Grant Loeb's children go to their new school? Local news editor, Christians. This little girl deserves justice, and she's not getting it. And there you have the update on that. There is some serious stuff wrong in this country. Holy smoke. The next one that I have for you. Julian Assange says that he has enough evidence on secret deals for the FBI to indict Hillary Clinton. Well, we'll see. Let me see here. I'm trying to get this to cooperate with me so I can read the article to you. There we go. WikiLeaks founder Julian Assange says that he has enough evidence on secret deals with an alleged Islamic State sponsor for the FBI to indict Hillary Clinton. Speaking with British journalist Afsin Ratanzi for Russia Today, Assange claimed to have 350 emails on a French transitional concrete company named Lafarge that allegedly paid ISIS to do business in regions controlled by the terror group. The report by left-wing British blog The Canary showed the Clinton Foundation accepted at least $100,000 from the company. It also detailed Hillary Clinton's direct ties with the company. And the insert here says, from 1990 to 1992, Clinton served on Lafarge's board of directors. Under her tenure, Lafarge's Ohio subsidiary was caught burning hazardous waste to fuel cement plants. Clinton defended the decision at the time. Then, just before her husband Bill Clinton was elected president in 1992, Lafarge was fined $1.8 million by Environmental Protection Agency for these pollution violations. Hillary Clinton had left the board of Lafarge in spring, just after her husband won the Democratic nomination. A year later, under Bill's presidency, the Clinton administration reduced Lafarge's EPA fine to less than $600,000. In the late 1990s, according to an archived investigative report in the American Spectator, Hillary Clinton was connected to Lafarge when the firm was involved in facilitating CIA support for Saddam Hussein's secret weapons program. And then the article goes on to say that Assange, who has stated the email leaks were not intentionally or intended to directly hurt Clinton, vowed that more emails are coming and the evidence in them is strong enough for an indictment. If prosecutors have courage to seek an indictment. Our view, which we have already stated, is if the evidence that the FBI has is enough for a grand jury to indict already, he said, but a prosecutor has to ask grand jury to indict. And if a prosecutor doesn't ask, the grand jury won't indict. The emails complement others obtained by WikiLeaks that it claims implicate Clinton in a flow of weapons through Libya into Syria and at the hands of ISIS jihadists. WikiLeaks founder told HBO's Bill Maher on Friday that his group was working on hijacking Trump's tax returns, but that was apparently a joke that got liberals a touch too excited. And the WikiLeaks comment here on Twitter says WikiLeaks isn't working on hijacking Trump's tax returns. Claim is a joke from comedy show. We are working on encouraging whistleblowers. So there is that article for you. Ab is off of BizPack Review. And this says 11-year-old schools media on why he supports Trump. A few bad words beats getting your head chopped off. An 11-year-old Donald Trump supporter made headlines when he asked GOP vice presidential nominee Mike Pence if his role in a Trump administration would be to soften Trump's words. But it's what he said to CNN on Friday that's getting even more attention. On Thursday, the young man, Matthew Stricker, questioned Pence at a North Carolina rally. Good morning, Governor Pence. My name is Matthew, and I'm 11 years old. I've been watching the news lately, and I've been noticing that you're kind of softening up on Mr. Trump's policies and words. Is this going to be your role in the administration, he asked. Pence laughed at first and then said Stricker had a future in politics, then answered by saying he was, and then the quote is, couldn't be more proud to stand with Donald Trump and we're shoulder to shoulder on this campaign, unquote. And then he goes on to say, what I've learned, Matthew, and you'll learn it when you're governor of North Carolina. I'm not kidding about that. It's sometimes things don't always come out like you mean. And Donald Trump and I are absolutely determined to work together. We have different styles, and you might have noticed that, he said. Differences in style, Matthew, should never be confused with differences in conviction. Donald Trump has the right vision for America, and he has the right policies for America, and I'm going to fight every day to tell his story all across the United States. And I'm going to work at his side to make those ideas into policies that will make America great again, Pence added. On Friday, CNN interviewed Stricker, probably expecting him to slam Trump's language, but what they got instead was a dose of reality. Matthew, a lot has been made in this campaign of the language that is used, the name calling that has been used, especially in the primary, CNN Poppy's Harlow said. As an 11-year-old watching it, what's your reaction? And Matthew says, I really think that listening to a few bad words coming out of Donald Trump is a lot better than people getting blown up by terrorists, people getting burned alive, people's heads being chopped off, and people getting drowned. Checkmate, Matthew. Okay, the next one that I have here. Remember that Muslim Khan that jumped all over Donald Trump? Well, he's back in the news here. This is .com. It says a magnificent con by the Muslim Khan. And the article is by Frosty Woodridge. And it says, at the Democratic National Convention in July, Pakistani immigrant and Muslim Brotherhood member Ghazar Mazam Khan held up a booklet containing our U.S. Constitution in condemnation of Donald J. Trump's plans to ban Muslim immigration. Did the mainstream media speak up to expose the fact that Khan advocates for Sharia law to be implemented in the United States? Did Meet the Press moderator Chuck Todd expose the fact that Khan's membership in the Muslim Brotherhood is conquering and destroying America's Constitution? Did John Dickerson at Face the Nation expose Khan's legal firm buying U.S. citizenships for his Muslim brothers in Saudi Arabia? Not a word. In fact, the mainstream media jumped all over Trump rather than defend their own country from the Muslim immigration threat. Its consequences play out all over Europe and in accelerating lone wolf massacres and subsequent parallel societies. Journalist Daniel Greenfield wrote, "When you turn on the evening news and see running death toll, it's happening more and more often. The news, or the brand, try that again. The new brand of Islamic terror only needs one thing: Muslims. Lone wolf terrorism operates off the existing Muslim population in a particular country. The bigger the Muslim population, the bigger the risk. The FBI or other law enforcement agencies cannot monitor even a fraction of the Islamic settler population sympathetic to terror. As the Muslim settler population in the country increases, the number of cases will grow." The source is Right Side News, Stop Lone Wolf Terrorism by Ending Muslim Immigration, and that was August the 2nd of 2016. Notice none of the mainstream outlets expose Hillary Clinton's top aide, Huma Abedin, stands first, last, and always a Muslim. The same media that enjoys our First Amendment rights never touches the fact that Obama employs 13 Muslims on his staff. One of them, named Mr. Magid, works on implementing Sharia law in America. He's known as the Sharia law czar in the White House. Ironically, conned our nation with its sympathies toward his son killed in 2004. In the intervening years, Khan's work in more Muslim Brotherhood members and selling citizenship to Saudi Arabian Muslims illustrates his long-term goal to displace the United States Constitution with Sharia law wherever his Muslim immigrants grow in numbers and strength, if allowed, or he gained his power. Khan would implement Sharia law across America in a heartbeat. Journalist Theodore Shubat said, "Khan is a promoter of Islamic Sharia law in the U.S. He was co-founder of the Journal of Contemporary Issues in Muslim Law. During the 80s, Khan wrote a paper titled Juristic Classification of Islamic Sharia Law. In it, he elucidated on the system of Sharia law, expressing his reverence for the Sunnah, authentic tradition of the Prophet Muhammad." The source on that is www.shubat.com, August 2nd of 2016. In other words, Khan advocates for total subjugation of women's rights, loss of free speech, loss of religious choice, loss of children's rights, and loss of women's rights to dress as they choose. He works to undermine everything that Americans fought and died for in the last 240 years. Make note of this reality. Hillary's work with Huma Abedin and men such as Khan illustrates how deep Islam embeds itself into our country. Khan pulled out all the stops on sympathy for his son, when in fact he works to destroy the foundation of our country with every day and every breath. Search al-Wathaqi al-Saisa from Arabia on violent jihad. Khan promotes it in his writing and his actions. Which brings a huge question to the final intent of America's mainstream media. Why don't Scott Pelley, David Murr, Lester Holt, John Dickerson, Chuck Todd, Terry Gross, Steve Inskeep, Robert Siegel, and a host of other top journalists carry out the accelerating Islamic invasion of our country? Why not expose what's really happening to Europe and to the USA? Are they waiting for Sharia law to snuff out their voice? Are they waiting for more terror attacks by deranged men following the Quran? Why haven't they exposed Obama's continuous assault on our country with his open borders and unconstitutional executive order amnesties? Passage from Governor Richard Lamb's famous 2003 speech on how to destroy America says, Lamb says, If you believe that America is too smug, too self-satisfied, too rich, then let's destroy America. It's not that hard to do. No nation in history has survived ravages of time. Arnold Toynbee observed that all great civilizations rise and fall, and that an autopsy of history would show that all great nations commit suicide. We gallop toward that destiny. So there's that article. Move on to the next one. Let's see here. This one is off CNN Money. New security flaw in credit card chip system is revealed. Researchers claim to have found yet another flaw in the upgrade to the chip-based credit cards in the United States. The chip on these credit cards have been praised for making them nearly impossible to counterfeit, while the cards also contain a magnetic strip. That strip is supposed to tell the payment machine to use the chip. But there's a relatively easy way to knock down that safeguard. Computer security researchers at the payment technology company NCR demonstrated how... Oh, got something trying to play. Got to get that stopped. And it doesn't want to stop. And it's giving me a hard time. And... we're going to get you stopped here one way or the other. Lord have mercy. Okay, I think I got it now. No, it's going to do it again. I'll be dog. I wish they'd stop that with these things.
They take forever. On the bright side, they're also more
I think they do this to aggravate me. Holy smoke. Now, we'll try this again. The chip on these cards have been praised for making them nearly impossible to counterfeit, while the cards also contain a magnetic strip. That strip is supposed to tell the payment machines to use the chip. But there's a relatively easy way to knock down that safeguard. Computer security researchers at the payment technology company NCR demonstrated how the card thieves can rewrite the magnetic stripe code to make it appear like the chipless card again. This allows them to keep counterfeiting, just like they did before Nationwide switched to chip cards. They presented their findings at Black Hat Computer Security Conference on Wednesday. This claim of glaring hole in EMV, the chip-based system, is possible because of the way many retailers are upgrading their payment machines. They're not encrypting the transaction. There's a common misperception solves everything. It doesn't. Patrick Watson, one of the researchers, told CNN Money on Thursday, a banking and retail industry group that monitors EMV system cast doubts on the theory. And the quote is, if the data on the magnetic stripe is altered, it might fool the terminal, said Paymetrics Forum Director Randy Vanderhoof. But on the back end, the system would reject the transaction. But the discovery of this possible flaw bolsters the retail industry's complaints against the upgrade, which was forced upon shops by banks. The National Retail Federation has long complained about the upgrade, which is estimated to cost American retailers $25 billion. And it says related, Walmart exec credit card upgrade is a joke. The latest research shows that retailers could spend millions of dollars upgrading to EBM and still not protect their customers from a massive credit card theft like Target and Home Depot hacks 2 years ago. Adding to the problem, payment terminal makers keep producing machines that don't have the encryption by default. And vendors who sell and install these machines at shops don't simply flip the switch and turn on encryption. Retailers have to pay extra for basic security. The major machine makers, Verifone and Ingenico, both asserted that they offer point-to-point encryption on retailer machines, but it's up to retailers and their partners to turn it on. Currently, retailers focus on protecting the computer network that supports the payment system, but that leaves the actual conversation between your credit card and the machine in plain text, readable to any hacker who breaks into the system. It's a mistake, said Mike Weber, vice president at IT auditing firm Coalfire. They're assuming the environment is okay, and it's not. During their presentation, the NCR researchers advised shops to encrypt everything in a transaction. They also said consumers should pay with special apps on their phones and watches whenever the high-tech option is available. So there you have news on those credit cards. Makes you want to be careful where you use them things now, don't it? Next thing you know, somebody will be running up thousands of dollars on your credit card. Okay, the next one here. This is off of the intelligence report. SPLC or SPLcenter.org. The Southern Poverty Law Center, SPLC, is releasing its 5th training video for law enforcement officials, understanding the threat, anti-government extremists. A DVD is bound into law enforcement edition of this issue of the intelligence report, but it may be viewed by others at the SPLC website. The video, a short film designed to be shown at roll call, focuses on the rising threat of the anti-government patriot movement, especially in the wake of armed standoffs between militant radicals and law enforcement officials in Nevada in 2014 and Oregon in 2016. The confrontations, both of which were led by members of the Cliven Bundy family of Nevada, have helped pump new life into the movement that is marked by bizarre claims about the Constitution and the federal government, it says. Since 2010, at least 7 law enforcement officers have been killed by anti-government radicals who call themselves sovereign citizens, a subset of the patriot movement that believe most laws don't apply to them and that has been designated by the FBI as a domestic terror movement. In addition, 2 Las Vegas police officers were murdered as they ate lunch by a couple who had been part of the 2014 standoff at the Bundy Ranch, but were ultimately told to leave. The DVD touches on the fact that anti-government extremists have been increasingly targeting law enforcement officials for recruitment. While their pitches for building a movement of constitutional sheriffs and police may sound attractive, the reality is that their ideas are anti-ethical to the American Constitution. Wow. His earlier videos produced by the SPLC have focused on sovereign citizen, racist skinheads, Aryan prison gangs, and the rise of the lone wolf, meaning a terrorist who acts alone. All 5 videos, along with other material meant to assist law enforcement officials, can be found on SPLC's Law Enforcement Resources page, and they give the link for that. So if you want to check this out, go down in the description and find the URL on this and look it up. Oh my goodness gracious. Holy smoke. I can't make this stuff up. Wow. Okay, I'm moving on. This one is off BizPack Review. It says, Florida police officer takes on killer in race against time to prevent him from murdering hundreds. It was a typical evening in October 2013 that turned dangerous for Miami-Dade police officer whose quick thinking is credited with saving countless lives. The entire episode was caught on video, and there is a video in this if you want to see it. It says the officer, Mario Gutierrez, noticed smoke coming from a nearby gas station. When he arrived, he saw a man with gas hose stretched out, attempting to ignite 2 8,000-gallon underground gasoline tanks, CNN reported. When I saw that, I panicked because I realized what was going to happen, and it scared me because I thought, wow, we're going to die. This is going to be a catastrophe, Gutierrez said. The officer quickly shut off the emergency valve to the pumps and confronted the suspect, Dominique Jean, a 51-year-old illegal immigrant from Haiti with a long history of violence, with his taser drawn. I hit the emergency shutoff, he said, and then I went over to him very quickly and drew my taser. I was going to incapacitate him with my taser, but the man charged toward him and stabbed him about a dozen times with a screwdriver as the confrontation escalated, according to CNN. When he stabbed me, I thought of my family. I became the predator, and he became the prey, and that's why I survived, Ms. Dara told CNN. I felt that he was going to kill me, and I will be damned if he's going to kill me. I wasn't going to let it happen, he said. That's when he fired 5 shots in about 1.5 seconds, killing Jean, CNN reported. It took about 20 seconds, he said. 20 seconds for 12 stab wounds, a bite wound, and I fired 5 rounds with my pistol. It was very quick. Gutierrez, who previously told a fellow officer he was taking blood thinners, was drenched in blood. Fortunately for him, the first officer to arrive to help him was the one who knew of his condition. I knew he was in trouble, Officer Juan Leon said. His brown shirt was completely covered. It was red. It wasn't brown. It was red. I knew he had to get to the hospital right away. Thankfully, Gutierrez made it to the hospital on time and lived to tell the tale. CNN reported that Gutierrez received several awards for his bravery, including the Medal of Valor from President Obama and a Congressional Badge of Bravery. He also was named the Miami-Dade Benevolent Association Officer of the Year in 2013. Miami-Dade Aviation Department gave him its MIA Hero Award. So there you have that one. There are good officers out there. Now, we'll go to the next one here. This is off of the Underground Reporter. And it says, oh, I remember putting this one up here. Okay. Let's say just what the hell this is about. It says the people who stay up late and are messy have one thing in common. Stacks of papers, books, and folders cram into every available space on your desk. You glance at the clock to see it's 2:31 a.m. and utter a swear word. You got up late again, but far too immersed in what you're doing to even consider getting sleep yet. Perhaps your friends perceive you as an insomniac slob who swears too much, but they probably haven't heard the good news. Studies suggest these traits are a sign of intelligence. Popular mythology frequently equates swearing with low intelligence, limited vocabulary, and low social status. But a study by psychologist Christian J. of Marxist College and Timothy J. of Massachusetts College of Liberal Arts and published in the journal Language Sciences dispels these stereotypes. Fluency in taboo words, they found, parallel fluency in mundane neutral words. In fact, a billowing vocabulary of curse and slur indicates a larger vocabulary overall. Those who swear abundantly generally tend to be more eloquent. Fluency is fluency, the scientists found. Balmness taboo lexicon may better be considered an indicator of healthy verbal abilities rather than a cover for their deficiencies, the researchers wrote. People who use taboo words understand their general expression content as well as nuanced distinctions that must be drawn to use slurs appropriately. The ability to make nuanced distinctions indicates the presence of more rather than less linguistic knowledge as implied by the POV, poverty of vocabulary view. In other words, swearing is in no way indicative of limited vocabulary, lack of intelligence, or hollow filter when someone can't find anything better to say. And this article goes on, but I got a chuckle out of this because I know there's a lot of us that tend to stay up late. And, well, sometimes our language is colorful, and so I thought it would make you feel better if you knew that rarely a sign that you're weak-minded. So there you have that one. And the last one that I have for you today, this is your warm and fuzzy. This is off the Good News Network, and it says here, the boy has spent years donating thousands of smoke detectors to families in need. It says, when Hector Montoya was only 9 years old, he happened to see one of the many horror stories regularly broadcast on the news. Little girl's parents had perished in a house fire. Since he was confused as to why the family didn't have a smoke detector, his grandmother simply said that some people do and some don't. That wasn't good enough reason for Hector, so instead of using the $300 stashed away in his savings account for new PlayStation 4, the boy spent the money on smoke detectors. Now 11 years old, Hector has donated 6,425 smoke detectors to families across Texas. After his most recent contribution of 125 detectors to the DeSoto Fire Department on Wednesday, the boy was honored for his generosity in a ceremony featuring local firefighters, his family, and the city mayor. The donations will be distributed throughout nearby senior homes in need. Hector's compassionate actions make sense considering he dreams one day of becoming a firefighter himself. We have a fire academy here. We're giving him a scholarship for the academy. He's given so much, and we're going to give a little back to him, DeSoto Fire Department Chief Jerry Duffield told Inside Edition. A smoke detector wakes up families, gets them outside, saves their lives. Not only is Hector saving the lives of these folks who wake up and hear the alarm, he's also saving the lives of firefighters who are first to respond to a scene, having to make about sending people in. There's a lot of there's a lot of layers of what he's done. And I thought that was a heartwarming story. And so here again is something nice that you can do. I'm not telling you go out and buy 6,000 smoke detectors, but the next time you're at one of these stores, Walmart or Lowe's or any of the hardware stores, whatever, any place that sells these smoke detectors, why don't you pick one up if you got a few extra dollars in your pocket and take it over to the fire department and donate it and tell them that you're donating that for them to put it in somebody's house, somebody that's in need of a smoke detector and can't afford one or don't have one. I really don't think that for most people it's going to hurt you that much to do something nice. Do a nice thing for somebody. Or if you happen to know somebody that is struggling financially, you might ask them, do you have a smoke detector in your house? If they don't have one, buy one and take it over and put it up for them. I don't think a few minutes out of your day is going to ruin your life. So, that's something nice that you can do for people. So with that, I think that we're going to close her down for today. I'd like to thank everybody in the chat room and all my lurkers and all my Memorex folks for joining me today. And I hope you have a wonderful, wonderful afternoon and go out, kick your shoes off, stick your feet down in the grass and ground yourself. Take a breath of fresh air and just let all the troubles go over you. Just let it all pass you by. Life's too short to be holding all kinds of hostilities and negative attitude in. So let her go. And with that, we'll turn you loose and we'll see you here tomorrow at noon. Bye.